New York has a sufficient supply of electric power to get through the winter with increased demand, but that will come this year at a steeper cost. Kate Lisa joins us now from the state capitol. So, Kate, what is contributing to the higher cost of electricity this winter?
Susan, it's a variety of national and geopolitical factors, and that is driving costs of electricity up more than 30% more than this winter as opposed to last year. And that is why utility companies are starting to brace themselves, expecting that consumers will struggle to meet that, to pay for that upward cost this season.
The state's electric system won't be strained to meet increased demand this winter, but price of wholesale electricity could be more than 30% higher than last year due to inflation, supply issues from the COVID-19 pandemic, and the war in Ukraine influencing supply costs. The price of fuel and natural gas directly impact the cost of electricity.
We expect high prices going into the new year.
Experts at the New York Independent System Operator estimate the state's power system will have a surplus of 1,600 megawatts at peak demand. But Kevin Lanahan, NYISO's Vice President of External Affairs and Corporate Communications, says lawmakers must be aware of the forecasted increases they can't control and a sustained burden on taxpayers.
The real concern that we have is whether or not that's going to impact fuel supplies here in the state. Right now, it doesn't look like that's an issue. But the pricing issue is definitely something that we're concerned about. We want to make sure that consumers understand going into the heating season.
They've been working with transmission owners and utility companies around the state to make sure customers are aware of the expected cost increases. Some companies are bracing for back payments before winter begins. Last week, National Grid announced it would donate $6 million to customers struggling to pay their bills with the higher costs this season.
Help those customers who just don't make the cutoff for the federal programs, for the heat program and things like that.
The utility's one-time program is separate from available federal and state assistance and is expected to help more than 31,000 New York households. Demand on the state's electric system is increasing as buildings and vehicles shift to electricity in an effort to not rely on using fossil fuels. National Grid has plans to be fossil fuel free by 2050 to stay on pace with the state's climate goals.
There's going to be much more load on these electric systems than there has been in the past. So we're trying to build them, we're trying to build more capacity in early on. And we've already started that process.
New investments in solar and wind power. Today, experts say that that's added about 700 new megawatts of power to the state's grid, and that is not enough to be a supplement for the retiring fossil fuel systems. And they are warning policymakers that they really have to keep an eye out for the amount of power that the grid will have for seasons after 2025 and beyond. Susan?
So 30% is going to pinch, Kate. When was the last time we saw energy prices increase like that?
It's been quite a while, actually. It's been at least a decade. 2012 is the last time we've seen any comparable double-digit increases above or near 30% like we are this winter. So we'll have to see how those prices, what they will do, since they are factors that are largely out of state officials' control, and how they will cope with it and what they will do for taxpayers.
We're going to have more on this later on in the show. Kate Lisa reporting. Thank you.